You need to see Aftershock because you're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be one of the most horrific experience ever. Like, forget Evil Dead. Like, Aftershock is the real deal. It's real terror. We're not talking about a monster that doesn't exist. We're talking about a real earthquake.
How did that, ese junte, you and Eli Roth, how did that come to be?
We always talk about doing something together, not sex, about doing a movie together. and suddenly, right after the last exorcism, that was a huge hit, Eli had the power of getting the money to make any movie that he wanted to do. And we started talking about doing something together, and suddenly had this idea about doing a movie based on the earthquake that actually happened in Chile in 2010. And we were like, whoa, that's really interesting because nobody has done a disaster movie in a while, and especially a more grounded version of a disaster movie. All the disaster movies, they're always about, like Cloverfield or the monster, or about, something that's not gonna happen. So I was like, why we don't go back to what was cool in the 70s, and let's do something like the Poseidon or the real earthquake, like those movies from the 70s. We had the idea of doing most of the effects practical. And that's something that it's really different. When you watch the film, you can notice that what's happening is happening for real.
For real? Did you destroy a city?
We destroyed many parts for real. We were shooting with 5 cameras all the time. The huge sequence that happens at the club where we destroy everything, that was one shot. Because you only have one shot of destroying everything. You can't be like, okay, we're gonna clean this and start and shoot in 8 hours from now.
Practical effects were so effective, and I think the most they spent on the art department to make it look really good and real for the movie. So it seemed real.
Yeah, it was totally a plus for us. I mean, the fact that they spend the money on practical effects, and they were so intense. We only had to react. We were acting out of purely reality. It was very scary, so very realistic.
And also what I wanted to show was how scary it was. Like, suddenly there is this generation and that's my generation, that we're so attached to our cell phones. We have all our lives there, and suddenly, without your cell phone, basically you're dead. Like, when the earthquake happened, I tried to call my mom, and I realized that I didn't know my mom's number, because it was on my cell phone, and my cell phone died. And the only phones that were working were the landline phones. So I talked with my girlfriend, and she was in Valparaiso, and it was like 4 a.m. in the morning. So when I talked to her, she was like, I'm okay, but I'm running. Like, why are you running? She's like, no, because they say that there's a tsunami. So I was like, this is so hardcore. And we should do a movie where people can feel that terror, because it's real terror.
Who died the best?
There is one very expensive death in the movie.
Which one was that one?
When the guy that is on the thing.
The gondola.
Yeah, the gondola, and yeah, that for me was one of the most like elaborated sequences.
That was practical?
Yeah, everything that you see in the movie is practical, like 95%. We retouch some little things, but everything is practical. And that's what I love about the movie, and that's why the movie has that energy, because we were shooting and we only had one chance of getting everything right. It was like one shot, and that's it. That's everything that you have. Like, this movie doesn't have a gigantic budget, and our idea was like, let's make a movie with, for under 4 million that could look like a movie that has a budget of 20 or 30 million. And that was the goal.